Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined tonight by Michael Bullock. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the second night in a row, will not be with us this evening. Work commitments beyond his control. He should be back with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on his channel, Brace Fan 95. But let's not waste any time. Let's dive right on in. The big story of the week, obviously. We're going to start it off with, and rightfully so, Drew Brees. Drew Brees, undersized and overlooked at the onset of what would become a hugely successful career. Drew Brees was a statistical giant whose right arm and extraordinary talents transformed the New Orleans Saints into a winner.
A Jeep lover's dream. Wake up. You're not dreaming.
We got a
celebration event is
pop-up
going
video
on now
here.
at Bald Hill Dodge Crescent Jeep Ram. We've got the
this from the Saints as well. Thank you.
All right, I apologize for that. So before I was so rudely interrupted, let's try this again. Pinpoint in his accuracy, quick in his release, and sensational across 20 autumns of NFL play. Brees officially announced his retirement this past Sunday, beginning the countdown to his arrival in Canton. The announcement was a family affair that came via social media and following a lengthy wait after the end of the Saints season. It's a decision many believed was coming, though that hardly lessens the gravity of it all. Excuse me, as one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks has concluded his career, his name etched across record books, and his impact on the Saints franchise forever entrenched. Left behind by Brees are 13 trips to the Pro Bowl, 2 AP Offensive Player of the Year accolades, a 2006 Walter Payton Man of the Year honor, an NFL record 80,358 yards passing, 571 touchdown passes, and a 67.7 completion percentage that accentuated the accuracy that was his trademark. And of course, he leaves New Orleans, a 2009 season to cherish until the sun grows cold, having marched the Saints to their only Super Bowl and coming away with a victory and the Super Bowl MVP. That was in Super Bowl 44, a 31-17 victory over the Indianapolis Colts, February of 2010 in Miami. Saints head coach Sean Payton said in a statement, "When I was hired by the Saints as head coach in 2006, the very first goal was to establish a functional and winning culture. In doing so, it was vital to know what we were looking for in a player: talent, work ethic, makeup, intelligence, and leadership are all qualities we found in Drew Brees. We also found a player with a burning desire to win. Within a year, he helped lead our team to the club's first NFC Championship game appearance. Throughout his career, his consistency and dedication to excellence was unparalleled. In a very short period of time, he would help lead a region to recovery and a team to a Super Bowl championship. He was a magnificent leader both on and off the field. His attention to detail and competitive spirit were infectious. For all of us that have had the chance to coach him, it has been our privilege. We are better for it." End quote. The 42-year-old Brees' 20-season career began with the then San Diego Chargers, who drafted him with the first pick of the second round in the 2001 NFL Draft. A record setter at Purdue, Brees' 6-foot frame, questions surrounding his arm strength and his ability to successfully transition from the Boilermakers spread offense to the NFL saw him drop from the first round. He played 5 seasons with the Bolts, leaving after the Chargers applied the franchise tag on him in 2005 and planned to move forward with 2004 first-round pick Phillip Rivers, who it turns out retired after the same season as Brees. In 2006, Brees signed a 6-year deal with the Saints and forever changed professional sports in Louisiana. Brees' final game will stand as a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC divisional round, falling against longtime contemporary Tom Brady. It was a dismal performance, marked by 3 interceptions and a 38.1 passer rating that were each career lows in the postseason for Brees. It was hardly a fitting end for such a phenomenal career, but Brees bided his time before announcing his retirement and that final subpar showing is already being lost amid the pomp and circumstance that rightfully accompany the conclusion of such a heralded career. Of all the sensational statistics that Brees' career holds, perhaps the most significant, historically, is that which shows just how cosmically he altered the state of the Saints franchise. After his arrival in New Orleans in 2006, Brees captained the Saints to 9 winning seasons, rescuing a franchise that had just 7 winning campaigns in the team chronicle prior to the QB arriving, a span that covered 1967 to 2005. In all those seasons, the Saints mustered just 5 postseason berths, while Brees' Saints went to the playoffs 9 times in his 15 seasons. It was an instant turn of fortune for the fleur-de-lis-clad franchise. In Brees' first season with the Saints, New Orleans broke a 5-year playoff drought, earned just its second postseason win in franchise history, and advanced to the NFC Championship game for the first time. It came a year after Hurricane Katrina ravaged New Orleans as the Saints went 10-6, with Brees debuting as the starter and giving a beleaguered region something to cheer about. Thereafter, the Saints, who never finished with a record worse than 7-9 in Brees' tenure, rebounded from 2 playoff-less seasons to win their first and only Super Bowl in their first and only appearance. Overshadowed by Peyton Manning and Brady in his time, Brees stood tall on that February night in Miami in 2010 as the Saints bested Manning and the Indianapolis Colts 31-17. Brees was the game's MVP. His 32 completions, still a game record, tied with Brady. He was an exceptional 32 of 39 for 288 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 2-yarder to Jeremy Shockey with just under 6 minutes left that stood as the game winner. In the seasons that followed, Brees and the Saints chased another Super Bowl trophy, but his career concludes without one more. He piled up stats galore along the way, leading the league in passing a record 7 times and toppling 5,000 yards in a season a record 5 times. It added up to his league standard 80,358 passing yards. Brees exits the game as the only player in NFL lore to surpass 80,000. For a time, he was also the all-time leader in TD passes, vaulting past Manning, being overtaken in the 2020 season by Brady, his 571 settling at second all-time and 10 behind Brady at regular season's end. 4 of the top 5 single-season marks in completion percentage belong to Brees, including his 74.4% showing in 2018 that stands as the most accurate season ever. Often discounted or forgotten, the Chargers were a winner with Brees as well. He was 11-4 and 9-7 in his last 2 seasons as a starter with the Bolts. Brees' 172 wins as a starter are 4th all-time, with 142 coming as a Saint. Even the greatest have their naysayers. Brees points to him having long played inside the cozy domed confines of the Superdome in an offense accentuating his quick strike approach and camouflaging downfield deficiencies. However, those each point to 2 of the hallmarks of Brees' career. His height and arm made him an underdog, and he overcame all that in glorious Hall of Fame-worthy fashion. And Brees found the perfect fit with the Saints and head coach Sean Payton. A QB1 coach combo locked at the hip for history. But unfortunately, New Orleans ultimately came up short once more this past season. Saints won a 4th straight NFC South Division title, produced a 4th consecutive season with double-digit wins, but fell short of the Super Bowl yet again, despite having been a prohibitive favorite to do so autumn after autumn. But nonetheless, the greatest era in Saints Chronicle, the Brees era, has concluded. The greatest Saint of them all has called it a career. Next stop, not quite Canton, but it will be NBC Sports, because Drew Brees, the following day, announced that he was signing with NBC Sports as an analyst. So that's so there you have that. So I'm trying to find the official announcement, but all right. Drew Brees will now be, the next chapter of his career kicks off in earnest. And he announced this past Monday morning on the Today Show that he is joining NBC Sports as a studio analyst for Football Night in America. Yep, he announced on Today's Show Monday morning he's joining NBC Sports as a studio analyst for the Football Night in America pre-show. He said, I'm part of the team now, a new team. I'm excited about that journey. I'm excited to stay very closely connected with the game of football. It's been such an important part in my life. I continue to be able to talk about it, show a passion for it, and be able to bring my kids along for the ride there as well and let them be part of those special moments. NBC added that in addition to being a Football Night in America studio analyst, Brees will also work as a game analyst for its Notre Dame football coverage. And Brees will also be part of other NBC events, including the Olympics and Super Bowl 56 per the network. So there you have it. We wish Drew Brees the best of luck, and we thank him for all the memories and all the inspiration that he gave us. And, it's a career that we'll never forget. I mean, so fun to watch. Those Saints teams were fun to watch. And I'm just glad that he at least got one Super Bowl. He should have had at least two, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that 2018 season, we all remember that that infamous NFC Championship game when they got screwed by the referees. The most controversial call / no call in NFL history, the pass interference that opened the door for the LA Rams, and the LA Rams went on to win, and they went to the Super Bowl, and that was that. And they never really recovered after that, losing to Minnesota 2 times. And then one of those was the Minneapolis Miracle, and then the overtime loss in the wild card round. And then this past January, losing in the divisional round to Brady and the Bucks. And at least he got one. I'm glad for that. Should have had at least 2, maybe more. But, it is what it is. And can't wait to see him this fall on NBC when he'll be working Notre Dame games. I mean, I'm sure he'll be working with Mike Tirico for that. And then we'll see him on the Football Night in America. And he'll also be on the Olympics. And he'll also be a part of Super Bowl 56, which will be on NBC next season from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. So can't wait. So the Drew Brees, now I usually say this to honor someone who passed away, but I also use it for someone who announced his or her retirement. For Drew Brees, we simply say thank you for the memories, thank you for the inspiration, but most of all, thank you for Drew Brees. God bless you, sir. That's all there is to say on that. And we wish you the absolute best of luck in your wonderful new endeavors. We can't wait to see you this fall. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Drew Brees, what a career.
Yeah, you can definitely say it's definitely what a career it was for Drew Brees. I mean, to last this long, and I agree with you. He should have had at least another Super Bowl title besides the one that he won in Super Bowl 44, where he was named the game's most valuable player. I mean, to me, like you said, the best chance I think he had was the 2018 season. I mean, they were in the NFC Championship game, and they literally get screwed by the referees and I'll say one of the most horrendous non-calls that I have ever seen in not only in NFL postseason history, but in the history of the NFL overall. If it weren't for that, they could have been in another Super Bowl, but you know what? It is what it is. And he goes out his way. And I definitely cannot wait to see what he does over at NBC with doing the Notre Dame games and being part of the Football Night in America, the Super Bowl, of course, the Olympics. I cannot wait to see how he does there. So congratulations, Drew Brees, on a tremendous career. But besides NBC, your next stop will definitely be the Hall of Fame. So nothing more to say, Florio. It is yours.
Yep, and it will not be long before we see Mr. David Baker knock on the door or whatever to inform Drew Brees, like he's always done with those beautiful moments when he surprises the soon-to-be Hall of Fame elects. And I'll never forget those ones he did with Bill Cowher and Jimmy Johnson. I mean, that was, and you can only imagine what's going to happen when Drew Brees gets his. So it's going to be great. Can't wait to see it. So, all right. Bullock, are you ready for some free agent frenzy?
I'm ready.
Because we got a lot of it. Now, we don't have time to get into everything because, we'd be here all night and we can't do that because we both have commitments. So, but what we will do is we will address the notable signings. So some big news coming out today that affects that affected and our teams have been very busy. I mean, look at my team, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, Josh Allen now has a viable backup because the Buffalo Bills announced that they have signed Mitchell Trubisky. And then from there, MF's team, the Miami Dolphins, have a brand new big-time wide receiver in Will Fuller out of Notre Dame. And Bullock's team, the Patriots, oh boy, have they reloaded because they want to say, okay, Buffalo, you had your year in the sun. Well, we're taking this, back next year. So with that, let's take a look at what we have here. For the notable signings, of course, my team, the Buffalo Bills, agreeing to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal with Mitchell Trubisky. They also signed a great number 2 receiver, a nice backup to Stephon Diggs in Emmanuel Sanders. Hold on one second. Yep. Sorry about that pop-up video. Emmanuel Sanders agreeing to a 1-year deal. Those are the 2 big signings for the Buffalo Bills. For MF's team, the Miami Dolphins, Jacoby Brissett signing a 1-year, $5 million deal with a max value of $7.5 million. Malcolm Brown, 1 year, $1.75 million, fully guaranteed. They today signed Will Fuller, 1-year deal worth $10.625 million, fully guaranteed. That includes another $3 million in incentives. They also signed Bernardrick McKinney, acquired in a trade with the Houston Texans in exchange for Shaq Lawson. Bullock's team, the Patriots, re-signing Cam Newton to a 1-year deal worth up to $13.6 million, a base value of $5.1 million, $2 million signing bonus, a $1.5 million guaranteed base salary, $1.5 million total in per game roster bonuses, a $100,000 workout bonus, and $8.5 million in incentives. And you've got a huge wide receiver of your own, Bullock, Nelson Aguilar, 2-year deal, $26 million, annual base salary of $11 million with $2 million in incentives a year. You also signed another good receiver in Kendrick Bourne, 3 years, $22.5 million. Hunter Henry from the Chargers, you got him. He's going to be a tight end, 3-year, $37.5 million, 25 guaranteed. Jonnu Smith, 4-year, $50 million deal, including $31.25 million guaranteed. Trent Brown, offensive tackle, acquired from the Raiders in exchange for a 2022 fifth-round pick. Matt Judon, 4-year, $56 million deal, $32 million over the first 2 years. Kyle Van Noy, $13.2 million, 2 years. Nick Folk, staying with the Patriots as the kicker. The New York Jets, big move for them. They got into
one more thing, Florio, to address when it comes to the Patriots. David Andrews re-signed.
Yes, David Andrews did re-sign. Yep, I had that in my list here. Sorry, I forgot to mention it, but let me see. Andrews. Yes, David Andrews, 4-year deal. That's what I have here on my notes. The Jets signing Corey Davis, 3-year, $37.5 million deal there. Those are the notable moves in the AFC East. In the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens getting tight end Josh Oliver in a trade with Jacksonville in exchange for a conditional pick. Pernell McPhee staying. They got offensive guard Kevin Zeitler, 3-year, $22 million deal, including $16 million guaranteed. For the Bengals, they not really any, but they did get defensive end Trey Hendrickson for 4 years and $60 million, including $32 million in the first 2 years. Cornerback Shadobi Awuzie, 3-year, $21.75 million deal that includes $9.25 million in year one. Can earn a $250K bonus each year for making the Pro Bowl, taking the max value of the contract to $22.5 million. Cleveland, just a lot of re-signings here. Nothing really to write home about. The Pittsburgh Steelers getting Ray McLeod. Re-signing. In the South, the Houston Texans, they've made some moves. Houston Texans getting Tyrod Taylor, 1 year, $5.5 million deal, 2.5 guaranteed. Could be worth up to $12.5 million. Mark Ingram has signed with Houston. 1 year deal worth up to $3 million. That includes a $500,000 signing bonus. Ingram will have a $1.5 million base salary, $500,000 in game roster bonuses, and $500,000 in incentives tied to total yards. Andre Roberts, 2-year deal with up to $5.95 million. Dante Moncrief signing a 1-year deal. Shaq Lawson, of course, acquired in the Dolphin trade for Bernardrick McKinney. Houston very busy, no doubt about it. Of course, some time ago, we talked about Carson Wentz signing with the Indianapolis Colts. We already know that story. For Jacksonville, they signed Carlos Hyde to a 2-year, $6 million deal. Philip Dorsett agreeing to a deal with Jacksonville. Marvin Jones signing a short-term deal with $7 million. Shaquille Griffin, 3-year, $44.5 million deal, $29 million guaranteed. Tennessee, they got Bud Dupree, 5-year deal with up to $85 million, $35 million guaranteed. Let's see. In the West, in the AFC West, nothing really. The Broncos did get Ronald Darby, 3-year, $30 million deal, $19.5 million fully guaranteed. Kansas City, they didn't really do much. They did get Blake Bell, free agent deal with the Chiefs. Joe Tooney, offensive guard, 5-year deal, $80 million, including $32.5 million guaranteed. Raiders very busy. They got Kenyon Drake, 2-year, $11 million deal with a max value of $14.5 million. John Brown, former Buffalo Bill, signing a 1-year, $3.75 million deal worth up to $5.5 million. Yannick Ngakoue, I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name, 2-year, $26 million deal for the Raiders. Chargers signing Jared Cook, the tight end, to a 1-year, $6 million deal, $4.5 million guaranteed. Corey Linsley, the center, 5-year, $62.5 million deal that will pay him $26 million over the first 2 years. In the NFC East, of course, the Dallas Cowboys. We talked about Dak Prescott last week, I believe. That was the big move there. The Giants, they signed Mike Glennon, undisclosed terms. Devontae Booker, 2-year, $6 million deal. John Ross, 1-year deal, $2.5 million. Kyle Rudolph, 2 years with a max value of around $14 million. Reggie Ragland, 1-year deal. Philly, nothing really to write home about. Washington football team, they signed Ryan Fitzpatrick, 1-year, $10 million deal, max value of $12 million. Lamar Miller's going to Washington. Well, he's staying in Washington. They also picked up Curtis Samuel, 3-year deal with $34.5 million. In the NFC North, the Chicago Bears, they've signed Andy Dalton, 1-year, $10 million deal with a max value of $13 million with incentives. Allen Robinson was franchise tagged. Everybody else is pretty much staying put. Detroit, of course, we talked about the Jared Goff deal for Matthew Stafford. We talked about that on the show some time ago. Jamal Williams, 2-year deal, $7.5 million. Rashad Perriman, 1 year, $3 million. Michael Brockers acquired from the Rams in exchange for a 2023 7th-round pick. Green Bay Packers, Aaron Jones, re-signing with Green Bay, 4 years, $48 million, $13 million signing bonus included. His deal includes $20 million over the first 2 years, $7 million roster bonus due on the third day of the league year in 2023, $16 million due in 2023, and $12 million in 2024. Minnesota, Patrick Peterson, 1 year, $10 million deal. He's going to Minnesota. In the South, Lee Smith, the tight end, was acquired in a trade with Buffalo in exchange for a late round 2022 draft pick. Carolina, signing Hassan Reddick to a 1 year max value of $8 million, including $6 million guaranteed. They also got wide receiver David Moore, 2 years worth $4.75 million, $1.25 million guaranteed. Saints, of course, re-signing Jameis Winston, obviously, now that Drew Brees is retired. For the Super Bowl champs, of course, Tom Brady's coming back. We already know that story. Gronk is coming back, 1 year, $8 million deal worth up to 10. Shaquille Barrett re-signing. Levante David staying. Minter staying. Ryan Suckup staying. Of course, all those guys will be back. In the West, in Arizona, AJ Green, 1 year, with a base value of $6 million. Of course, we talked about JJ Watt some time ago. Another big move for Arizona, getting AJ Green. The Rams, of course, we talked about Matthew Stafford in the Goff trade. We talked about that. Leonard Floyd, 4 years, $64 million, including $32.5 million fully guaranteed. San Francisco, Kyle Juszczyk is staying. Nothing really to write home about there. Seattle, they got Gerald Everett from the Rams, 1 year worth up to $7 million, including $6 million guaranteed. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's pretty much all the notable free agent transactions during this free agent frenzy. Michael Bullock, I mean, I'm sure you got to be very pleased with all the moves that your team made. It's obvious that your boy Belichick and company saying this year was a fluke. Next year, Buffalo, enjoy it this year, because next year we're taking this bleep back.
Yeah, and they
Bullock, are you there? Not sure where. Just waiting for Bullock to come in. I hope we didn't lose him, because he was right here just a moment ago. But hopefully it's not on my end. But while we wait for him to get back in, a lot of great moves here being made. I mean, especially, we lost Bullock. Okay, so hopefully we'll get Bullock back in soon enough. But while we wait for him to come back in, Mitchell Trubisky signing. He's obviously now going to be Josh Allen's backup, you would have to imagine. The 1 year, $2.5 million deal. Emmanuel Sanders, solid number 2 wide receiver behind Stephon Diggs. Because you got Diggs and you got Sanders, and then of course you got Cole Beasley. I would expect him to be utilized more now that John Brown was traded, and Matt Milano staying in Buffalo, 4 year, $41.5 million, $21.5 million over the first 2 years. And I'm very pleased with the moves that went down with the Buffalo Bills. And I know if MF was here, he'd be going crazy over the Fuller signing. And they also got Isaiah Wilson and Malcolm Brown and Brissett. I mean, just amazing. And that's really all there is to say in regard to our teams. I mean, Corey Davis, big time receiver for the Jets. Definitely a great move for them, no question about that. And just bear with me 1 second here. Yeah, hopefully we'll get him back in here soon enough. Corey Davis going to the Jets. Good move for them. Of course, a lot of great moves that have gone down. Houston, definitely another big winner. I mean, Tyrod Taylor, he's not the best, but not the worst. But you got Mark Ingram coming in. That's big. You got Andre Roberts coming in. Dante Moncrief, a couple of good receivers there. I like those moves for Houston, no question about that. Lawson coming in, that could be a big help on their defense with Watt gone. And, of course, we talked about Carson Wentz going to Indy and Jacksonville getting Carlos Hyde. I mean, that's a very big deal. Philip Dorsett, good receiver there. And Shaquille Griffin coming in. That to definitely help the defense out. Bud Dupree going to Tennessee. It's a big help for their defense. Janoris Jenkins also signing with the Tennessee Titans. Okay. Okay, we got Bullock back in. So Bullock, if you're set to go here, let's get your thoughts on the notable free agent frenzy moves in the NFL. Not just from your team, the Patriots, but also from the rest of the league. I mean, other than your Patriot moves, Bullock, what stood out to you when it comes to the NFL free agency moves? Bullock, okay.
Yeah, basically, I mean, like you said, Florio, I mean, a lot of big moves in the NFL. I mean, basically, I mean, the Patriots definitely making the biggest of moves with everything they had. I mean, they addressed the tight end situation. I mean, and defensively too. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that they did to improve the team. Now, whether they can get back to winning the East, that remains to be seen. So, I mean, obviously the Bucks, they're trying to go for it. They want to repeat as Super Bowl champs. Obviously, getting Brady back and Gronk, and of course Shaq Barrett on the defensive side. I mean, all these moves that, I mean, they don't call it free agency frenzy for nothing. And it's definitely been one heck of a free agency frenzy up to this point. So I cannot wait to see what the rest of the offseason goes. So there's really nothing more to say. Florida, did you already talk about it?
A little bit. I mean, I was
stalling. You finish off.
Yeah, I was stalling for time while you were tending to your little glitch there. But nonetheless, you talk about your team, Bullock, the Patriots. I mean, look at my team, Buffalo. I mean, Josh Allen now has a viable backup in the form of Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky, solid backup to say the very least. I like that move very much. I also like Emmanuel Sanders coming in. I mean, that's a phenomenal. I mean, imagine that 1-2 punch with him and Stephon Diggs. I mean, that's scary. And then you got Cole Beasley on the slant. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's a 3-headed monster when it comes to the receiving core. So I'm very encouraged by that move. Matt Milano's staying. I'm very happy about that. No doubt about that. The heart and soul of our defense. No question about that. And I know if MF was here, he'd be going crazy over the McKinney signing and Will Fuller. Will Fuller, big receiver for them. I mean, him and Devontae Parker. I mean, that's a nice little 1-2 punch down there. Brissett, old friend of yours, Bullock. 1 year, $5 million deal. He's going to Miami. He'll be a great backup for Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, you have to imagine it's got to be Tua's team now that Ryan Fitzpatrick has gone to Washington. Obviously, that's going to be his team now after they parted ways with Alex Smith, which I'm still flabbergasted over, but, it is what it is. Your team's going to be scary again, Bullock. I mean, after the rebuilding year that was 2020, where you guys went 7-9, you got Newton coming back. You got Aguilar coming in. You got 2 great tight ends in Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Brown coming in on the O-line. Andrews staying, and Judon coming in. Van Noy coming in. That'll definitely help the defense. Jalen Mills on safety. That's a big move there. 4 years, $24 million. And those are the big moves from our teams. Houston was another big winner, like I said, with Tyrod Taylor coming in, Mark Ingram coming in, Andre Roberts, Dante Moncrief. I mean, great pickups there. Shaq Lawson coming in from the McKinney trade with Miami. And Christian Kirksey also signing with Houston. Indy, of course, we talked about Carson Wentz, and Marlon Mack is staying. 1 year, $2 million deal there. Carlos Hyde, Philip Dorsett, and Marvin Jones, the notable moves for Jacksonville, and as well as Shaquille Griffin. Bud Dupree going to Tennessee. That'll help their D. Not really much others to get into. I mean, Kenyon Drake, Theo Riddick, and John Brown going to Vegas, as well as Yannick Ngakoue. And Chargers getting Jared Cook. Great tight end, great replacement for Hunter Henry. He's a solid tight end. Prescott staying in Dallas. And the Giants getting Mike Glennon, Devontae Booker, John Ross, Kyle Rudolph, Reggie Ragland, just to name a few. Washington, another big winner with Fitzpatrick coming in. We'll see if he can bring the Fitz magic to, I believe, what is this, his 9th or 10th team now? My God, he's played on more teams than anybody. Lamar Miller staying there. Curtis Samuel coming in. Washington will look to make the NFC East, prove that they're winning that division was not a fluke. Andy Dalton going to Chicago. I know Matt Ward's got to be happy about that. He'll obviously replace Mitchell Trubisky. Of course, it'll probably be him and Nick Foles battling for the QB spot in Chicago. Goff, we already talked about that on a recent show. In Detroit. Aaron Jones staying with Green Bay. A great move for them. Peterson going to Minnesota. That'll help their defense out, no doubt. Obviously, with New Orleans, it's Jameis Winston team now. It's going to be between him and Taysom Hill, obviously, now that Drew Brees has called it a career. The Bucs with all their big moves. Everybody's staying. Godwin staying. Gronk staying. Barrett staying. David staying. Suckup. And, of course, Brady coming back as well. A.J. Green to Arizona, as well as J.J. Watt. And big moves for them. Stafford to the Rams and Leonard Floyd, and great free agent frenzy, and Gerald Everett going to Seattle. So a lot of great moves. And MF also said that the Dolphins are perhaps closing in on signing Chris Carson. And if they sign Chris Carson, that's definitely going to help the running game. No question about that. So it's going to make for a very interesting season next year. So we can't get into every single move here, but it is what it is. But a very, very crazy several days worth of NFL free agency news. We've been exchanging a lot of messages in our Strictly Sports Messenger group, myself and Bullock and MF, and of course Derek Ferreira. I mean, we've been going crazy over this for the last several days, so hopefully we did this justice. So I only wish MF was here so we could have helped us out with some of this. But anyways, let's get into a story that was just added today to our docket, a story that MF wanted us to address, and we're staying in the NFL. This a very big move in the NFL when it comes to television. Craig Carton reporting that NFL Sunday Ticket will move from DirecTV to ESPN Plus starting in 2024, an 11-year deal with an opt-out after 7. Amazon Prime will be the exclusive home of out-of-market Thursday Night Football. The Amazon deal on its own is worth roughly $1 billion. The games will be produced exclusively by Amazon. CBS, Fox, and NBC will re-up their deals to continue broadcasting as usual. And the big news that came out, this from NFL.com, with an emphasis on bestowing fans versatility and watching the games they love and stability for years to come. The NFL announced today it has signed long-term agreements with media partners Amazon, CBS, ESPN/ABC, Fox, and NBC to distribute NFL games across television and digital platforms, along with additional media rights. The agreements will commence at the start of the 2023 season and run through the 2033 season, broadening the league's digital football to a larger audience while preserving its custom of keeping all NFL contests on over-the-air television. The new agreement will also see the Super Bowl air on 4 networks. Get this lineup bullet. From 2023 to 2033, 3 Super Bowls each will be hosted by CBS, 2023 and 2027, and 2031, Fox in 2024, 2028, and 2032, NBC in 2025, 2029, and 2033, while ABC 2026 and 2030 will carry 2. Also part of the agreements will be an increased flexibility for Sunday Night Football and now Monday Night Football games in the aim to put the most meaningful games in primetime slots. MNF did not previously flex games. Kicking off in the first year of the agreement, Amazon Prime Video will become the exclusive home to Thursday Night Football. Thursday's announcement could also put other changes into motion. Under the NFL and NFLPA collective bargaining agreement, at least one new media deal was needed for the league to move forward on a 17-game regular season. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported, and Commissioner Goodell said today on a conference call that decisions regarding that would likely be made at the annual league meeting, which is set for March 30 and 31. CBS will maintain rights for AFC coverage, which dates back to 1998, of Sunday afternoon games, and will simulcast on Paramount Plus, its flagship streaming service. ESPN will continue to be the home of Monday Night Football, while ESPN Plus subscribers can stream one international series contest on an exclusive national basis each season. ESPN can also simulcast all ABC and ESPN games on ESPN Plus. Fox will also maintain its NFC package of Sunday afternoon games, which started back in 1994, though it has expanded digital rights to including its AVOD streaming platform, Tubi, to deliver NFL content on digital platforms. NBC will continue to air Sunday Night Football and will simulcast games on Peacock, the NBC Universal streaming service. Peacock will also air an exclusive feed of a select amount of games over the span of the agreement. The league's TV home NFL network will continue to air a select schedule of exclusive games annually. And with games across multiple networks and streaming services, NFL action is now available in more places than ever before. But the NFL will also continue to be the only sports league to deliver all of its contests, regular season and postseason, on free, over-the-air television. Hope you all got that. Because, man alive, I mean, what a deal. I mean, very exciting to think about it. I mean, ABC and ESPN will host the Super Bowl in 2026. It'll be the first time it would mark the first time in 20 years. So that's basically Super Bowl 60. Super Bowl 60 is going to air on ABC, and my God, I mean that is amazing, and I cannot wait for that. I mean, ABC hasn't hosted a Super Bowl since Super Bowl 40 with Pittsburgh and Seattle and Detroit. So and then they'll have it again in 4 years for Super Bowl 64. But 3 Super Bowls on the major networks with this new deal. Of course, next year Super Bowl 56 will be on NBC, and then Super Bowl 57 will be back on CBS. Super Bowl 58 will be on Fox, and Super Bowl 59 will be on NBC. And Super Bowl 60 will go to ABC. Super Bowl 61 will be on CBS. Super Bowl 62 on Fox. Super Bowl 63 on NBC. Super Bowl 64 on ABC. And Super Bowl 65 on CBS. In case you're scoring at home. Amazon Prime Video, exclusive home to Thursday Night Football. Bullock, I know you shouldn't. I know you probably won't have any trouble with that with your Amazon Fire Stick. I know you won't have any issues with that. As won't I, because I have Prime Video on my end as well. So we'll look forward to that in 2023 for Thursday Night Football games. So I love the moves here. It's very exciting to have all these networks with all these great deals, so we can enjoy more of the best sport in the world. I mean, the most powerful sports league. I mean, the WWE of the major sports leagues. Great deals all around, and Sunday Ticket in a couple years will be moving over to ESPN Plus, and I can't wait for that. So great moves all around, very exciting. So not much more to say. So Michael Bullock, what do you make of all these TV deals here that were just announced today?
Man, I mean, talk about the digital landscape of the NFL definitely changing a few years down the line. I mean, the Sunday Ticket's going to be going to ESPN Plus. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, basically, and it's good for ESPN Plus, but bad for DirecTV.
Yep.
Yeah. And then like you said, I mean basically everything that we heard today, I mean ABC, ESPN getting the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, this is definitely a win-win for the NFL, and yeah, I mean the digital landscape, like I basically said, Florio, it is definitely going to change a few years from now, and all I can say is I cannot wait to see all this happen. So there's really nothing more for me to add to it. You basically talked everything about it. So let's move right along.
Before we do, how about Monday Night Football? I mean, Monday Night Football is going to have flex games now, so that means we're not going to get any more crappy games on Monday Night Football. Thank God.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. I mean, yeah, we got crappy games, and if there is one, they're gonna definitely flex it, and I think it's a good move for the NFL to do that.
Certainly. So that definitely was something we needed to address, but yeah, very exciting stuff to say the very least. Not much more to say. Let's move on here. That's it for the NFL. We're going to move to the NHL. The big story that came out about a week or so ago. How exciting for this. Starting, I believe, next season, the NHL is returning to ESPN. The Walt Disney Company, ESPN, and the NHL have reached a historic and innovative 7-year television streaming and media rights deal taking the new partnership from the beginning of next season, 2021 and 22, through the 2027-28 season. The visionary, first-of-its-kind agreement brings the NHL back to Disney and ESPN platforms and illustrates the unique position of the Walt Disney Company to bring the best hockey in the world to millions across its unparalleled collection of media platforms. It is highlighted by exclusive coverage of the Stanley Cup Final on ABC in 4 of the 7 years of the agreement, with the ability to simulcast/megacast on ESPN Plus and additional ESPN networks. The return of live NHL action to ESPN networks with 25 exclusive national regular season games on ABC or ESPN, 75 national regular season games per season produced by ESPN that will stream exclusively on both ESPN Plus and Hulu, half of the Stanley Cup playoffs on ABC and ESPN each season, and coverage annually of NHL's Face-Off, which is the opening night games, the NHL All-Star Game and Super Skills Challenge, plus other NHL special events each season. Additionally, the NHL's out-of-market streaming package with more than 1,000 games, formerly on NHL.tv, will now be available for fans to stream only as part of an ESPN Plus subscription. The agreement also includes extensive highlight rights that will add to coverage across ESPN's year-round news and highlights programming, and the coverage on the ESPN app and social media. International media rights, including in Latin America, the Caribbean, and parts of Europe, are also part of the agreement. Michael Bullock, all I got to ask is, what do you make about this? How about this? NHL returning to ESPN. And MF informed me in a messenger chat between me and him that Bill Clement would be open to going back, but he said, I won't do it without Gary Thorne. Could you imagine if we get those two back? Oh my goodness.
That would be huge if they get Gary Thorne and Bill Clement back together, because those two were absolute money when they worked together.
Amen, brother. Amen.
When not just regular season games, but also, of course, the playoffs, and especially the Stanley Cup Final. And we know, I mean, we go nuts whenever somebody scores a goal. You know, Gary Thorne, he goes nuts.
Oh yeah.
He shouts, "He score!" I'm like, holy smokes. I mean, but nobody can remember how nuts he went when Raymond Bourque lifted the Stanley Cup. I mean,
2001.
I'll never forget that moment.
Most emotional moment in NHL history, bar none.
Yeah. So, to me, I really hope.
Don't forget 1994 with the New York Rangers, how nuts he went over that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. And yeah, I mean, that would be cool if they get those two back together. I mean, it's good to have the NHL back on ESPN. And yeah, I mean, and you know, it's not just that, but we'll also get more of Barry Melrose again.
Yep. Steve Levy, you would have to imagine.
Yeah, maybe Steve Levy and Barry Melrose maybe doing games together.
I would love that.
So, yeah, this is big for ESPN. So, I'm happy about the deal. I'm happy they're going to be back. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. I'm excited about it. Floria, what says you?
Right there with you. I mean, think about it. I mean, MF messaged me earlier today. We talked about it. He said that, Bill Clement said, absolutely, but I wouldn't go back if they asked me without Gary Thorne. And MF told me that Gary Thorne just recently had an interview, and he said he would love to come back to ESPN to work their NHL coverage as well. Man, if they pull that off, oh my God, that's a mark out moment, to say the very least. I mean, that's our childhoods being brought back to life to our adult lives. I mean, that would be freaking awesome. I mean, Bill Clement and Gary Thorne were my childhood and my early teenage years. I mean, of course, the two greatest moments. I mean, but there was also another great moment. What about when Wayne Gretzky broke the all-time goal scoring record when he surpassed Gordie Howe on a broadcast in '94. He lost his mind when Wayne Gretzky broke that record against Vancouver. The Rangers, of course, when they broke the curse in '94. And then, of course, the Raymond Bourque moment. We'll never forget that. I mean, especially when Joe Sakic handed Ray Bourque the Stanley Cup and said, after 22 years, Raymond Bourque. I mean, you can't help but get emotional seeing that moment. And but nonetheless, though, I'm right there with you, Bullock. I mean, we're all very excited about this. I mean, just amazing. And we are so excited about this. And wow, that's all there is to say on that. And it starts next year. So next year we'll get into that. So we'll get into, there's one more thing we need to address, and then we'll call it a night here. The first four of the NCAA tournament. 3 games have gone final. We have 1 in progress right now. Texas Southern defeated Mount St. Mary's by a score of 60-52. Drake upsetting Wichita State 53-52, and Norfolk State upsetting, or I should say, knocking off Appalachian State 54-53. We have Michigan State and UCLA in the second half right now. Little under 16 minutes to go. Michigan State with a 4-point lead, 49-45. Texas Southern was led by John Walker III with 19 points, 9 rebounds, and an assist in the win. Jordan Gilliam had 12 with 4 rebounds and an assist. And Mount St. Mary's, Damian Chong Key with 14. Mizi Offerum, a double-double, 10 points, 16 rebounds. But it's Texas Southern who moves on, and I believe they'll be moving on to face Michigan. I believe that game will be on Saturday, I think. So Drake defeating Wichita State 53-52. Joseph Yesufu, 21 points to lead the way. Tremel Murphy, 11 points. Darnell Brody just missed a double-double, 9 points and 10 rebounds in the winning effort for Drake. Morris Udeze, 22 to lead Wichita State. Dexter Dennis with 13 and 7 rebounds. And big win for Drake. Drake will now move on to meet USC. That will be on Saturday. And Norfolk State with a 54-53 win over Appalachian State. Jalen Hawkins leads the way, 24 points and 5 rebounds. Joe Bryant Jr., 10 points. And J.J. Matthews, 6 points, 8 rebounds for Norfolk State. For Appalachian State, Justin Forrest, 18 points to lead them along the way. Donovan Gregory, 9 points, 8 rebounds, just missed a double-double. R.J. Duhart had no points, but he had 11 rebounds. But that's it for that. Norfolk State will move on to face Illinois in the next round, and the winner of this game with UCLA and Michigan State will head on to meet BYU. So the games start tomorrow. They start at high noon, and we'll quickly address it here. It'll start at 12:15 tomorrow. Number 10 seed Virginia Tech against number 7 seed Florida. We'll kick it all off. You got Colgate and Arkansas at 12:45. Drexel and Illinois in the 1:15 spot, and at 1:45 Utah State against Texas Tech. Those will be the first games of the day tomorrow. And the rest of the schedule you can find on any platform you want to check out. So not much more to say there. So Michael Bullock, do you have a quick thought about these first 4 games, especially what we got going on now with Michigan State and UCLA here?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been pretty good first four up to this point. I mean, the games have been good, and yeah, I mean, the setups at all the places I thought were really good, and but of course, as I like to say, the action's going to start for real tomorrow, and like it said on the March Madness Facebook page, welcome back, March Madness, and boy howdy, we missed it, and it's just good to have it back, and I
So
cannot
far,
wait
so
to see
good.
it all go down tomorrow.
Amen to that. So far, so good. Especially that Drake Wichita State game.
Yeah,
Winning
so far, so, yeah, that was definitely one heck of a game there, and I cannot wait to see it all start tomorrow as the road to the Final Four begins for the 64 remaining teams.
Yep. And we finally have that sense of normalcy back. I mean, after we lost it a year ago.
It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, man. I mean, 1 year ago we didn't get to enjoy this because of COVID. You know, COVID had just started and it took away so many things from us and we couldn't enjoy it. We had to go all those months without sports and it was, painfully boring, but somehow we got through it and here we are. I mean, we got that sense of normalcy back. I mean, we got this with the tournament and NHL and NBA continuing on, baseball starting up in a couple weeks. Of course, we're on the road to WrestleMania, obviously, so it definitely has that feel once again. So maybe not the same as before, but it's certainly better than nothing at all. That's all we can say on that. So that will put the bow on this edition of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you tomorrow night over on MF's channel, Brace Bay 95. You should be back with us for the Cerebral Smack Talk, Friday Night SmackDown, Go Home Show. We'll get into that. We'll also preview the Fastlane pay-per-view. Sunday night following the pay-per-view, we'll have the recap of that. Monday, Ridiculously Raw. Wednesday Night Mayhem. This program next week, we'll see what's on the pipeline. One thing that I do want to address for next week, I didn't do this tonight because I wanted to save it for MF when he comes back. The boxing world losing a pioneer, one of the all-time greats, and marvelous Marvin Hagler. We'll pay our respects to him next week. I wanted to save it for MF because, MF is our boxing guy after all. So definitely want to get his words on that and whatever else we have on the pipeline. Maybe some tournament coverage. Actually, no, that's right. It won't be on. But we'll see what's on the pipeline for next week. I'm sure some more stories will come in and we'll get into all that. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock. And in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Dee Woodson, and always and forever, Derek Forever. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, Twitter Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. And bye, everybody. Bye.